All right, that was the Indian Prime Minister speaking in New Delhi ahead of the Parliament session, which is supposed to commence today, and it will happen in less than an hour. This is the winter Parliament session, which is to begin shortly in some time from now, and the opening address made by the Indian Prime Minister, as is customary. Of course, in his opening address, he has spoken to the opposition, mincing no words, asking them to discuss matters in Parliament. He also addressed the fact that the BJP has won in 3 major states just recently in polls which concluded just yesterday, and he's asked the opposition to be in coordination with the current government and discuss the bills which are up for discussion in the winter parliament session. 21 key bills are likely to be discussed in the winter parliament session. Okay, to just discuss what the Prime Minister shared as of now, we have with us our principal diplomatic correspondent Siddhant Zibal joining us over the phone line. Siddhant, what were the key takeaways from that short speech?
Well, BJP and Prime Minister buoyed by the election victory, the state election victory, clearly sent out a message to the opposition leaders, as you pointed out as well, as to how, of course, the opposition should leave the image of negativity and work in the parliament. Now, what is interesting, of course, is that today is the day of the parliament when it is a winter session, and it's for the first time that there will be a full-fledged session in the new parliament building. There was a brief session where we saw the women's bill being passed, but this session, of course, will define the basic protocol and the traditions of the parliament. But essentially, when it comes to this session, several bills are expected to be taken, and of course, given that just a few months left before the general elections take place here in India, so we can expect a lot of fireworks as well between the opposition and the government.
And here's hoping there is less of a shouting match in the parliament. I think that the Prime Minister already made it clear to the opposition, do not take your anger out during the session, but let's discuss matters, coming together. And he's seeking cooperation from the opposition. There are 21 bills likely to be discussed, and let's see how it begins going forward. Thank you so much for joining us, Siddhant. Of course, the BJP coming off a huge win in 3 major Indian states. Polls concluded just yesterday. Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh all go towards the BJP. They've had landslide victories in all 3 states, and definitely they are expecting more details to come up, more discussions to come up in the upcoming winter parliament session. There are 21 bills likely to be discussed during the winter parliament session. All right. We also have Ms. Aditi, who's joining us over the phone line. She's a senior journalist. Ms. Aditi, you've heard the address made by the Prime Minister. Of course, again, mincing no words, sending a clear message to the opposition. What kind of fireworks do we expect in the upcoming winter session and discussions?
Oh, I mean, the Prime Minister has said what he had to say, but I don't think that's going to avert the fireworks. There are many things that the opposition is going to raise. And more than ever before, this time they have to present a united front against the context of the defeat that the Congress has faced in the assembly elections. So, yeah, I am expecting a lot of fireworks and very little work to be done during the session.
Ma'am, if you could just elaborate a little further, any specific points of contention where you feel there will be further discussions or leading into rather loud fireworks which are inevitable at the moment, which you feel?
Well, as you know, the Home Ministry is bringing very important changes in the Criminal Procedure Code and other laws, which have not seen any change for the last, many decades. These are very, very fundamental requirements, and I don't believe that there's going to be much consensus on this. And of course, in order to present a united front, the Mahua Moitra case is going to also change the mood of the House. So it would be very optimistic to believe that there's anything much that's going to happen.
Ma'am, the cash for query case is listed for day 1 in the winter parliament session, which is of course scheduled to start within an hour from now. Any your insights on that regarding what to expect going forward?
The procedures are at the heart of this issue, And the first thing is whether the Speaker will allow a discussion on it or not. It is the discretion of the Speaker. If a discussion is allowed, maybe some of the heat from arising out of the case may be vented. But we have to see if it will be before us in the next few minutes.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, ma'am. That was Aditi Fadnis, who's a senior journalist who joined us over the phone line right here on WION World is One. Of course, we're tracking all the developments coming in from New Delhi, where the winter parliament session is scheduled to begin minutes from now, less than an hour. The Indian Prime Minister has already completed his initial address before the winter parliament session begins, and he has, in a way, set the tone for the opposition parties as well to come in and have a healthy discussion on the bills which are to be discussed in the winter parliament session. 21 bills are up for discussion, but as experts believe and veterans believe that nothing is going to avert the fireworks in the upcoming winter parliament session.